So good morning. Welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. Time to do the morning chores. I have a special video that I'm putting together. So this is the intro. So let me explain what it is. I could get in trouble. So I'm really not joking. I might be in a little bit of trouble after this video because nobody knows what I've done. I was very sneaky yesterday. We ran out to run some errands, which I didn't get finished, but we'll finish those errands and filming later. I stopped by and checked on my Nana, and I was showing her my thumb. I got bit by one of my rabbits yesterday. This girl is not a friendly little girl, so it's none of the new babies you've seen or anything. And long story short, so we were talking about it, and I joked and kinda, and said, we might be having rabbit for Christmas, just making conversation. And my Nana starts going into these past conversations, or a conversation of the past, talking about, she said, Granddaddy, this would be her grandfather. She talked about how much hunting he did, rabbit hunting and squirrel hunting, and we got into conversation about that, and something told me, hit the record button, Patera, hit the record button. So, I didn't want to tell her because I didn't want her to stop, so Nana, don't get mad at me. I really wanted this on film, and it's a documentation of family and family life and things that we did. And we've learned something new. I think you've told me before about what's coming up in the video, and we're going to make this. But, 5 to 6, 10 minutes of just her talking. So I'm going to interject it. So it's going to start off just all of a sudden, and then it's going to end. And I'm going to put pictures with it, precious pictures of people and things and stuff like that, because it's just filming the audio. It's just the audio, so I'm going to have to play some pictures. But what's so funny is, we're sitting there and all you see is her feet. So, she had no idea. But those are the best moments. And I wanted to share this with y'all and have it documented. And, it's just a special thing. And Nana, we really want you to film some videos with us. And I promise you, I'm going to bring a whole 9x13 pan of the special dish that you loved as a kid and you specifically talk about. Y'all enjoy.
Throw it in that water and he'd still be jumping around alive. And he'd have me to come out there and he would pull that chicken out and he'd give it to me and I'd have to pick the chicken. I'd have to pick all the feathers off of it. So then he would always, he would take you can pick a chicken, but when you get through, there's little bitty hairs on it.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, what do you call that?
Did he singe it? Have you singe it?
Yeah. Then he would. Then he told me one morning. He said, "You've watched me singe these chickens enough." He said, "I'm going to give you the singeing." So I picked the chicken, and then he lit up the paper or whatever, and then I held that under there and singed those little hairs off.
Now, would Granny Harp,
She'd cut it up.
She would cut it up, and just whatever she wanted to cook, like dumplings or baked chicken or fried chicken or whatever.
Fried chicken, usually.
Fried chicken.
Yeah.
Now, so you didn't have meat every single day?
No.
Obviously. Well, you might, what about sauce? Could you have sausage? I mean, did you have enough of that?
We had sausage because they killed hogs, and we'd have sausage because I'll never forget the first time I can remember. They had the sausage meat ready, and then they had the sausage grinder hooked on the corner of the table. And I said, I tell you one thing, I am not going to do the sausage. I am not going to grind up the sausage. And that I heard me say it, and he said, Peggy, get up here and start on the sausage. So he got up and he made me mad, and all the meat that he had laying out, so he I ground like that. So he told me, said, okay, you have done your turn. Next is Buddy. I said, nobody is taking over this sausage job. I am going to grind up this whole bunch of sausage myself. And I ground up all the sausage meat that he had laying out there. Wouldn't let nobody else.
How old were you?
Oh, I was probably 12. Because that made me mad, and so I just showed him, well, you're gonna be the first one. I'll just show you how I can grind sausage.
So what would you eat every day, do you think? Did you have oatmeal? Did you tell me that before?
We ate oatmeal mostly after supper, because I was a sweet eater. And he would get me up he'd say, did you cook anything sweet today? This would be like when I'd be out of school in the summertime. And lots of times I would make something and have sweet. And he said, do we have anything sweet for supper? When he'd get through eating his supper, and I'd say, no, I didn't cook anything today. Mother would say, no, I didn't bring anything. He said, Peggy, get up and put on a pan of water and cook us some oats. And so I get up and put that thing full of oatmeal, and every one of us, we'd sit and eat that oatmeal like it was a cheesecake or something.
Now, did you put like honey or sugar, a little bit of sugar?
We'd put sugar.
But you didn't use a lot of sugar, though. Didn't you tell me that before?
Yeah, we didn't.
You would ration it.
Yeah. Didn't use a lot of sugar.
So dinner mostly was, I'm going off memory, what, corn?
Well,
or potatoes?
It would depend on who cooked it. Now, the best thing that I can remember that Mother cooked, she had a big can, or she opened pork and beans, and she put them in a big 9x13. She opened 2 or 3 cans, and she cut up Spam and spread over that and put that in the oven, and that was the best. That was the best thing that I.
So just a pan with baked beans.
Yeah, just pork and beans.
Pork and beans.
The old timey pork and beans.
Okay.
Not the baked beans. The pork and beans, she would put the pork and beans, and then she would take the Spam and slice it up, and just like it comes in long pieces, and lay that on there. And even after we had it, I told her another time, I said, Mother, cook us some more Spam and pork and beans. So I don't know if she ever did or not.
But that was probably something she threw together, because that's what you had, I'm assuming.
Yeah. And I've talked about, I told Kim, I said, there's Spam on the, she said, I said, have you ever eaten Spam? And I tell her about, and they tell on there the different ways that you can cook it now. You can cut it up in little bitty pieces and mix peppers and onions with it and fry it, And I said, I've been aiming to get me a can of Spam and fix it. She said, I wouldn't eat that stuff. I said,
now I've got it. I have it. I'm going to buy you some.
No, just give me a little piece.
Just give you a little bit. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But what does Spam have in it? Do you know?
It's just a mix of all kinds of different.
All kinds of
yeah,
meat.
Yeah.
But they sell it. I mean, they flat.
Well, it's like those canned hams, that are inexpensive and they last forever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same type of. I think they taste somewhat similar, but you can fry Spam and with eggs, and I've done it with videos and different things like that. But you've talked about before. A lot of fried potatoes and corn? Like, you're not a big, or you don't like potatoes because you ate some.
That was when we was living at Granny's and Mother was working. And Granny would cook supper, but she would only cook one thing. Granny was a good cook, but she didn't like to cook. And she would make cornbread, and we love pinto beans. And I could stand the corn okay, but when she had potatoes, she would fry potatoes I could not, I just wouldn't eat supper, because I think that's the reason why that I don't like potatoes today, is because Granny wore me out on them.
Right. Well, they were cheap and available.
And we got those out of the garden.
Right.
We dug those out of the garden.